Okay, we're live. Okay. I literally finished a walk, like a hour plus long walk, like not that long ago. And as soon as I came home, I put every single cold air machine possible on in my home, and it's ice pack time. So we are slightly less delirious and heat stroked or overheated than we were just a moment ago, but we will do what we can do during the stream. It's probably only going to be an hour long stream, this stream. But I have said that before and then ended up going for like the hour and a half. But let's give ourselves a goal of an hour. Mostly because I'm not really sure exactly what I want to achieve in... Hey, is that CB? Phoebe Parry Queen. Well, that makes sense because you're very good at parrying in Elden Ring. So, yes. I rebranded. Yes, good rebranding. I love the rebranding. I love that new name. Yeah, I'm not really sure exactly what the goals are for the stream today. We'll do some of our regular maintenance work and we'll see. And then we have some updates on the old open source design curriculum learning experience. And then I guess we could re-review some conference things that are happening imminently. But other than that, the other thing that we can do actually is check out some of the open source projects for a hackathon that's happening in a couple of weekends' time. That would be good to do. Because I am attending a hackathon, an open source software hackathon in 2 weekends, two weekends, or some amount of weekends time. I have matching hats. Yes, and YouTube nice. Yay! Good work. Yeah, it's important to. That's cat. Tofu, come on. If you're gonna come in, then come in. No, he's not. He's gone. He's just yowling outside. Okay, I think he sees an animal that he wants to get, probably, which is terrible. I know that cats should be kept inside if they are violent killers, like Tofu is, cat-wise, but you know. Anyway, yeah, so we can look at some of the hackathon projects that have maybe been published and see what there is to do there from a design perspective. That would be really good, actually, to prepare myself ahead of a hackathon, actually. It would be quite unlike me in the sense that most of the time, if a hackathon is happening, I won't, and I intend to go, I don't tend to actually have time to look up the projects ahead of time. So that would be good prep. But let's kick off with some of the regular maintenance. Let's just make sure I get all of my relevant URLs open for all of the stuff that we're gonna do today. Where would I find the projects? I suppose actually that's a good idea. I think I would find listings of the projects for the hackathon. Probably on a non-public or not very easily discoverable public location. So we'll see what we can find so far. Oh wow, there's so many projects. Oh, that's so cool. When I first, maximum is 20 projects. Oh wait, so there are some empty spaces projects wise here. But this is so cool. This is so cool. I don't think that these are... I don't think that it's private what projects are going to be at the hackathon, but it certainly isn't 100% like open source information, if that makes sense. Let me see if I can find any information. Any information about whether or not these can be sort of talked about reasonably publicly ahead of the event. And we'll see if we can locate like a public URL for the event as well, because that would actually be incredibly useful. And any public information. I think oh, that's cool. I will add some of our projects to that. Yeah, I can add some of our share and talk sessions. Ooh, the deadline for adding these is tomorrow evening at midnight, so I'm just in time for adding projects to this hackathon. Oh, and we love a code of conduct for a hackathon. Yes, we love to see it. Okay, so I'm gonna still have a look in a moment and see what public information is available about the hackathon. And if not, there's no like PII information here, like of individuals. So, or at the very least, I can move the screen so that. Oh, and one of the these two documents have in brackets public on them. So one would assume that they are public facing in some way, shape, or form. Therefore, that makes sense. Cool. This is really testing my knowledge of actually reading Japanese without some kind of what's the word? Translator. Let me just double check and see whether this version. September travel. Tasks. Tasuku. So tasks for the. I would assume this is kanji for projects. But okay. I think this is also something that could be shared on stream, because this also got some nice like project images here as well. So we'll attempt to use that as well. But the first things first. Let's please CB, please tell me about your travel details, but in maybe a more private forum if you would like to do so. I would love to know. I should know maybe already. But yeah, I cannot recall if you've mentioned. Let's have a little look at the regular maintenance stuff then. Also, CB, if you message me, I'll talk about I got a new pair of shoes today that I find quite delightful, and we can nerd out about clothing if you would like. Gender affirming clothing. Cool. A lot of things that are on my mind this morning is a lot of like gender inclusion work. I did a lot of gender inclusion stuff this morning for worky work. So, Ooh, San Diego TwitchCon. Amazing. Very cool, very cool. Going up in the old Twitch space. Hey, Tomazu, welcome. Welcome. Business trip. Okay, yeah. Okay, so we've got no new pull requests on the repository for open source design. We have had, I think, I don't know whether I got the chance to respond to, I did get the chance to respond. So I opened, last time I streamed, I believe, I opened this issue about being able to add the link to the discourse forum post of a job. Wait, hang on, jobs page. Add the link to the discourse forum post of rules for responding. I wrote this issue and I don't understand it. Add the link to the discourse forum post of rules for responding to a job and add the rules. Yeah, no wonder. Yeah, okay. I understood the title of that issue when I wrote it, but now going back 2 weeks later, maybe this is like one of the best ways that you can kind of like groom your repository issue repository is just basically try and understand something that you wrote several weeks ago after not looking at it for a while. That feels like a good way of figuring out what is, backlog issues and what can actually go into a sprint queue. Anyway, so I think my intention was we've had a higher rate of what we seem to be copy-paste responses to job posts this year. One way we're limiting that is introducing a rule that if you're posting a reply in our forum to a job opening from our jobs board, that you avoid copy-paste like responses and you'll get 3 warnings before being banned. You can find the information at the discourse forum post here. I think another location to surface this information is the jobs page itself. Okay, so in the jobs page, we want a link to the discourse forum post of the rules for responding to a job, and then add the rules. Let's link to this forum post in the top of the jobs page and also consider having text of the rules in order to avoid copy-paste responses from designers. And then, Jan said, since there's no way of directly commenting on the jobs page, I would probably not add the text here. It diverts attention from things we can actually do there right now, which is posting jobs and browsing jobs, which is, so this page here. That's fair. Yes, I remember. Just a lot of designers wanting to respond to a job, do it via the individual jobs page. So my rationale was that designers will often, if a designer is going to respond to a jobs post on open source design, they tend to. Let me see if I can find one that hasn't had a response yet. No, there's quite a lot of ones that have had responses now, especially. Here we go. So, well, this is an assumption I'm making. I'm assuming that most designers, and it's a assumption with some evidence behind it, given that like most designers come to the website, they look at the jobs in the jobs list, they look at this job, and then the idea is to like how to apply is to email the person or like contact the person via the contact method that they have provided to discuss like the design contribution. But I think sometimes people click this start discussion button, and it's possible even, I imagine, not that I'm technically proficient in how bots work, but it's probably reasonable that you could probably program a bot that looks for like, you could probably program a bot that looks for an email address, to be fair. Well, you can definitely do that, but like I think there might be bots that like if start discussion, open the discussion, and then it would have to log into a discourse anyway, and then post a reply to this. So my assumption is that people are either doing that themselves or have some kind of automated way of like basically just responding to a jobs post that way. and very rarely, if at all, people actually go here. And this is like the list of where all the automated jobs posts get like populated automatically by our own like bots in open source design. And very few people, I think, actually like go into like this section via like the forum link. Like they would go via this button, right? This start discussion button, or like continue discussion button. And I think my educated assumption that that's what most people are doing is because we often like, there's this little banner that appears when it's the first time somebody's posted in the discourse forum ever. And so, yeah, there's loads of like, this is the first time, this is the first time, this is the first time. So, but it's also reasonable that it, like, people probably are not going to be like, open source design, I really want to contribute design to open source. Oh, I'll sign up for the forum first. Like, I guess like maybe signing up to the forum is not necessarily the thing that people come to open source design to do. Just move my microphone a bit. Pardon, it's making it go real loud on the mic because I'm touching it. But yeah, so I think this issue was me trying to say I want to try and avoid. I wanted to try and avoid people basically like going through the list of jobs on the jobs page to just respond to, like, copy paste respond to jobs. Yes, before or after the link would be a good place. Short text. The bottom of every. So yeah, I came back to Jan and said at the bottom of each and every job posting right before the embedded forum discussion would be good, but I'm not really sure how we would do that because yeah, that would not take up too much space. So one thing that I really wanted to try and do is figure out where that would be. I remember posting that issue, but I want to give more context to where I think the edit actually needs to happen. And so when you submit a job to open source design, you submit it via a form posting. So you go here and you post a job here, and that creates a pull request in our repository. Oh, right, I should probably think about merging this. And then I'll think through the problem a little bit more because I am so EP sleepy. Yeah, I had to. This is not early for most people that always get up early, but I had to get up at like 5:30, 6 a.m. Well, 5:30 a.m. This morning to prepare and get ready for a work thing, and I found waking up that early was actually really lovely. Once I had put enough caffeine in my body. But sometimes you just got to have a work thing that gets you up in the morning for you to discover how much you like getting up at 5:30, 6 a.m. Okay. Let's see. So, well, this is helping us figure out the problem. So, this person sent a form with their job post. It got created into a pull request. How is the so the idea in order to respond to this issue and try and fix this issue, somebody would need to find where this template is generated, and add to it the text about the rules for responding to a jobs post, because it's not for people creating jobs posts, it's for people that are going to respond to jobs posts. So it's not important, it's not as important for the poster, it's posty. Anyway, URL. So we'll try and find this template in a little bit, actually. Design for open source, gratis. It's an organisation that builds a tool chain to empower organisations to build better apps faster. Developed MIT licensed technologies that need a design for their website and brand. This is nice. Look. We very rarely see somebody submitting a job post with what the designer doing the contribution would get, especially if they're doing gratis and not paid. But this is what the contributor gets, can other than making a contribution, which is, in and of itself a benefit. But in exchange, we can give visibility to work and potentially hire the person to work on paid projects. Well, one would hope, but that's nice. Design files, ideally in Penpot. Love that. I'm such a Penpot fan. It's kind of based. I don't know whether that's the correct use of the word based. Young people keep trying to tell me how to use how and when to use the term based, but I use it incorrectly still. I think anyway. How to apply? So that's their messaging. Let's have a little look at this. A Swifty tool chain for productive, like the coding language Swift. Okay, sure. Effortless build, test, and deploy apps with. Really? Like, if I remember correctly, the last time I worked in an organization that regularly maintained and built a proprietary iOS Apple native application, I remember how but this was a good amount of years ago, I remember how difficult Swift is to work with. If you're a developer that learned any other development coding language before you learn Swift, then Swift is a pain in the butt, I've heard. Or it's just, quirky. Or a pain in the butt. It kind of depends on the person. But, okay. Blog and docs. Let's open up the GitHub. So they say that they build everything with MIT. Is that a wasp in my house? Oh no. Oh, wasps. This truly is summer. Contribute. No. Well, actually, let's take a look at the contributing, and then we'll take a look at the license as well. Cool. Oh, so tired. The wasp found its way out of the room. Delightful. Cool, this license looks good. I just wanted to make sure before I merged this that the license is there. But yeah, looks good to me. Let's have a little look at this contributing. Nice. They've got is this a Git book? It looks like a Git book. Getting started. Building. So yeah, this is Coder. God, I'm so sorry. I'm so tired. This is Coder focused, contributing docs, which is fine. It is what it is. Ooh, I like this. Issue reporting. Context is critical, which is really important because my context was really hard to understand, even for me. Nice. Cool. Interesting to hear. But yeah, I can merge this. I'm happy to merge this. Let's merge it. I think I did this off stream. I can't remember whether I did this off stream, but I tried to do some open source design website coding contribution myself through Gitpod, and oh my good grief, Gitpod. I don't know what I'm doing incorrectly with Gitpod for it to not work, but hey, I spent the better part of a day of my own time, a day off, trying to figure out what I was doing wrong in Gitpod, and I had a lovely person helping me at the time, and they also could not, a formerly lovely person helping me at the time, and they could not even figure it out, and it kind of got to the point where, you know, everyone needed to give up on Gitpod. Well, in that situation, everyone needed to give up on Gitpod. I think the main thing was I don't think that Gitpod liked rendering like Jekyll stuff, or static site generators. Like the preview, I could access the code fine, but like the live preview modules were not like working, and I think it's because like when you pardon me, when you're working in like Jekyll and stuff like that, it gets complicated with where it's finding, I guess, style sheets and stuff. Ugh, looks good to me. Yeah, approve. Amazing, we can merge that. Maybe I just need to read some more Gitpod docs, and then everything will make sense. But at the time, I was like, I got to the rage, the this isn't working rage. Okay, so we don't want two of those open, but so here's the job form. Here's the job form, job template. Let's have a look at the job template and see whether that is, yeah, okay, so that's the job template. Write the description of the job here, keep each sentence new on a new line to make clean diff reviews. I don't think this is the template that gets used when this is submitted. Okay. Right, we're just going to look at layouts. Fixes how to apply section in the job posting. Let's have a look in the layouts folder and see what happens. Default, bring in line with new website. Let's have a look at this. These are just the HTML. These are just the templates for the HTML. But does when you fill out this, use this to make a pull request? Let's have a look at the stuff. I've never understood Static Man's, like, I know like it's the concept of what Static Man does. Yeah, I'm trying to figure something out, CB. I don't know whether I'll end up being able to figure it out, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so yeah, Static Man is the thing that like knows that a form has been filled out and sent, and what fields to, you know, allocate to what part of the template, and then creates the pull request. That's what static man does. However, I want to know what static man uses. Is it? But we looked at job template, right? We looked at job template. I'm not convinced that it is that for some reason. List of fields to be populated and included in the data. Yes, they need to be approved. Okay. New job fields title. Sets the title for the commit. Doesn't work yet. Does it still not work? Let's see. Anyway. No, it's worked. It's got closed in 2017. Nice. Deployed to live. Perfect. I mean, I could create an issue that yeah, we'll make an issue for it. Check and see if this text can be removed from the static man YAML. Looking over the YAML file for static man, I saw a message about something not being implemented, and I think this can be removed, but would be better if someone took up this issue to check. To double. Cool. Yeah, that's the right screenshot. There we go. Labels would be an incredibly good first issue. Because it's kind of like an investigation issue, isn't it? Needs testing? Needs testing? It sort of needs testing. It's not like it needs QA testing, but it needs testing of some description. Cool. Okie dokie. Right, so let's have a look at the template. Because I feel like let's have a look at have a look at the pull request that we just merged. Yeah, we rejected. So often, well, not so often, but reasonably regularly, we do get like people wanting to like post on the open source design jobs board for like a full stack software developer, and it's like, I mean, there's probably developers that look at our jobs board, but like that's not its purpose for full stack software developers. Especially maybe not one. I remember somebody else closed this. Yeah, I don't think they're even in an open source one, particularly. Anyway, let's have a look at this. Okay, because I think the thing that's tripping me up about whether this is the template that Static Man like uses to populate the pull request is that for like this is not like there, but then again maybe that's because Static Man is looking for things referred to like in the table, like they're looking for particular IDs, and that in this text is not a particular kind of like ID that they're like, what's the word, like programmed to look for. But if we wanted to have at the bottom of every like live job posting link to a link to how the rules for people replying to a jobs post, it's not really needing to be in the template for the pull request as much as it needs to be in the template that is used when the pull request is merged and it gets put live on the site. Let's have a look at the index. Need a logo designed. That's the jobs page generally, yeah. Which we don't want to put on feed. Is this it? No. Surely not. The feed is not an individual. The feed is this page, not like, for example, this page. So it's not the feed. Is it? If it's just the config, I will. Well, process of elimination it. I won't be mad, but like, maybe it is. I love all these emojis that you're using in the chat, CV. One day I shall create emojis. This is not the config YAML because this is the definition of the like global site stuff. It's nothing to do with the individual job page. Maybe it's default. What's in default? Create new job. It's not this, is it? Rake file. What's a rake file? Contains executable Ruby code. Okay. What's a rake file? Okay. Well, I don't think the rake file is like the template for this page. So that I think we can not look at, though we now know what a rake file is. I do, and whoever else is watching and interested now knows what a rake file is. So it's not the default. What's in the includes? So I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have been in the includes. Because that's like header, footer, stuff. Global, no, it's not in that. Pending. Right, okay. One thing we know is this page template is definitely in the jobs repository and not in the other repository. because nobody has fixed the issue of so we have 2 repositories for open source design. There is a single repository which defines the jobs section, and you can always kind of tell what parts are in the jobs repository, because the navigation is slightly different for the jobs sections than it is for the other parts of the website. And that's something that somebody, like, it's an issue that somebody, I think many people at one point wanted to fix. But it's a good indicator. If you're like, which repository is this page in, then it's a good way to find out which like, is a clue. I guess it's got to be the template for some reason. It can't be. I need to see. Okay, Tofu. Oh, Tofu, where have you been? You're covered in stuff from outside. Cat, you absolute. I feel like cats are one of the primary animals that distribute seeds across gardens, because they go through like foliage and get seeds attached to their fur, and then either distribute it in your home or elsewhere. Tofu, please. I'm trying to figure out where the template for this is. So I'm trying to find something which also has like this like forum discussion starter in. And the reason that I feel like it's not the job template is because there's not any indication of that. I feel like what I know of like Jekyll and Hugo and other sort of static site generators is that it should be in like the layout section. So truly, here we go. Okay. So if I'd looked better at this jobs.html, I would have found like the function for like creating the start discussion on discourse. So we can make that we can make the reasonable assumption there's got to be this, right? It's got to be discourse comments. Yeah, so it's using an article layout. Layout default, post content. So I guess Static Man at some point looks for jobs.html. Wait, no. Yeah, at some point Static Man looks at form, collects information from form, puts in template, creates pull request gets reviewed. Once pull request is approved and merged, pull request, Static Man tells jobs.html that pull request information has been merged, therefore create new job in job section. So I imagine that's what Static Man is doing. Okay, so let's just assume that it's here. After some too long. In the jobs repo, I think the permalink to the reply to job post info needs to be added just above where this HTML talks about discourse stuff. Okay, there we go. That was fun. That was fun trying to figure out what was going on in all these files. I found it fun. I hope everyone else found it fun. watches this back. But yeah, I mean, that's not, there's no more maintenance really needed there on the open source design stuff. We'll take a quick look at the forum and see what's going on there, see if anything else needs replying to on the forum as part of our sort of maintenance work, and if yes, then we'll do that. If not, we're gonna also the other thing that we were, whoops, not an incognito window. The other thing that we were doing last time on the stream is we were looking at onboarding for designers in open source, and that was fun. So let's find that document and see if there's anything else that needs to be done. There's loads that needs to be done there, so you know, it's here. Okay, let's have a look. Can we redesign open source design discourse? Here's the OpenAI one. It has more clarity and conciseness following the modern UI patterns. It looks like a dark version of the preschool theme. I like the cyber, but we lose theme description, usability per se. On the pin messages for specific channels. Sven, love this. Thank you for your suggestion. What specific problem? Is it actually a problem that a different UI or theme would solve? Recently joined the community, had to make an effort to find channels and content. I believe that adopting standard patterns, which are usually found in we do have a sidebar. Is there? Yeah, discourse would benefit from a cleanup. An admin setting. Great topic and great suggestions / investigations here. Just chipping in with my 2 cents as a maintainer of OSD. We don't really, well, let's more say I'm unsure what, whether any core team like approval would be needed to activate the sidebar for discourse. I imagine that we could test it out and see what happens. The main thing here being that as core team like maintainer members have like admin privileges, one of us would need to commit to like monitoring how it works for folks and revert back if it does not. It could also be a case of preference, or like critical usability infra. We as designers should always be careful if we are introducing preference as, like capital, as usability, which it is not always. This is a common like design problem actually, and it's really interesting to see this design problem modeled in the open source design community, because often the open source tools as a kind of rule are configured and like defined by like user preference, and often prioritized by frequent user contributor preference as well. You can see this like represented in a lot of like academic research and academic papers, where, you know, the people that are able to submit and merge changes to an open source tool are typically people that use it the most, are able to submit bugs according to their preference, and like submit workable code to solve those bugs that are sometimes, although more often than not, based on their preference of how they believe the tool should function, because they are using the tool and they want the tool to function in a particular way. So, and this is a common thing because it's often very difficult to talk about like preference and usability, because sometimes a preferred version can be a more usable version, like a more usability, accessibility focused version, but sometimes preference is preference and not more usable generally. And the only way that you, like professional designers, can tend to like tell what is preference versus like more inclusive usability is if you test widely, like perform some kind of A/B test, user testing, user research of some description, because otherwise, if you say, you could make a statement such as dark mode is more usable or more usability friendly. Dark mode is certainly more usable and usability friendly and accessible for some people, but not for everyone. And then you get down to kind of like the core of like, what is usability trying to achieve? Like, who is it trying to serve? And what problem is a preference surfacing potentially, which is really good. The reason that I liked Sven's response is like, what is the problem actually? What are the issues that you're facing? Talk to me about the problem, as opposed to presenting a solution that you think is that could be a preference or a more usable. So yeah, they then go on to talk about like better content and more hierarchy. So perhaps an A/B, like a, what's the word? It's not an A/B test. What is it? It's like a trial period test. And I can also ask the like core maintainer team for their thoughts. The other tricky thing here raised through the conversation is just the I've recently been told that the like regular, I already knew this, that the regular smiley face is like quite passive aggressive, tonally. So I've started like when I want to use a smiley face, because I'm like want to make sure that people know that the tone of the message that I'm writing isn't like angry message or anything, then I'll try and use like a smiley face at the end. But because I'm worried that the people think that the smiley face is passive aggressive, I use like multiple smiles. Now I don't know if that's the right thing to do. Probably not, but oh my god, the number of times I've asked what is the actual problem that we are trying to solve, and not even in design context. Yeah, I mean, I guess like it takes it takes like a certain amount of like thinking outside of yourself to kind of question whether you are presenting a preference or informing people of a problem that that could be solved in a number of ways. Yeah, smiley with triple J. Yeah, I'm not very good at textual communications, it turns out. Oh gosh, when did May 7th? Oh gosh. Oh, it's so nice when there is like comms that you then end up missing. I mean, discourse is, we love discourse. Generally, I have used it for professional projects, and I've used it with open source design and many other like open source teams and communities. Love it to pieces. Also, like unbiased and sponsored love discourse. Also love discourses because they donate a hefty amount to open source design every year, pretty much. Discourse is like our number one sponsor of the things that we do. So like I also respect like them investing their like time and money in design. I don't think they're like perfect like as a forum tool, but no tool is perfect. There's an unread here. Oh, good grief, I didn't read this. Look, I'm still learning how to use discourse, it turns out. Unmoderated user testing. Gosh, I wish there was open source alternatives for unmoderated user testing. Such a shame there isn't. But then again, there's so much infrastructure and like to maintain with like a unmoderated user testing kind of platform, and also so much like complicated PII stuff. You'd probably have to investigate some form of like blockchain, like anonymization, and also open source in order to actually like achieve that. I wouldn't, kudos to the person that tries to solve like open source like usability, user testing like platforms. If you can figure it out, you'll disrupt a market for sure. Ghibli recording for Jitsi might be an option. Interesting. This is me, privacy and security nerd, interested in this. No, don't need to quote. Found this thread fascinating to read, as my brain immediately went to how user testing platforms almost accidentally capture like personal identifying information, PII. E.G. like names, like time zones, etc. And the like large cost of like holding data like screen recordings safely, and you know, I cannot spell identify. I know the org I work at, Superbloom.design, have been thinking about a anonymity respecting user research like repository for a long time, but we have like considerable ethics, morals, like just data protection concerns before attempting that like user research open repository. Good grief, my spelling. Would love to like. We'll keep watching. Oh, we'll keep watching. We'll keep watching this thread. There we go. We can do this open mouse smiley instead of the multiple smiley face. Gibbery. This sounds cool. Scaling and syncing files. Record and stream Jitsi sessions with Gibbery. Scale Gibbery servers to support multiple recordings. Oh, I hit an hour. Okay. I actually feel like reasonably. This is cool though. This Gibbery thing. I'm going to talk about this in my workplace and see whether we can like talk about how to solve this kind of problem. But we mostly did maintenance. Next stream we'll continue some of this work about onboarding designers into an open source software project, which we actually got a good amount through last time. This document was shared to me by the and it's an open document. I think you can find it over on the bitcoin.design like community forums, but the lovely folks over at bitcoin.design, or like, I don't know how they refer to themselves now, so that might be inaccurate now, but that's how I received this, the context of how I received it. But we've been talking a lot about, privately, about like a open source software design curriculum. And I started this document, but it got overwhelming. And then on stream, I talked a lot about like that Coursera course about open source that I made, and it kind of rolled into this onboarding a little bit. But this is a document that they started about basically the curriculum. It looks like they used AI to generate a curriculum example, but I think that's a reasonable thing to have done, to have something to start with. Because it clearly was quite hard for me to start. So yeah, it looks like interesting of what they've come up with. Feel free to ignore the stuff below. So this must have been like other prompts that they tried with AI, who knows, or maybe other bits and pieces. Role of designers, getting started. So my intention was to comment on some of these during the time here, but we'll save that for another stream. And then I suppose the other thing that is happening is this hackathon, which is a Code for Japan hackathon, and they've got some of the projects public here, and we were going to take a look at the projects, but we can do that next week on the stream. These are some of the projects that you can work on at the hackathon. I'm really curious about what this one is, but I don't think Notion, which this is built in, that they've built this in, auto translates, and my level of Japanese is not this proficient, and I could read all of this like on stream to y'all. Komi, komu, ni, te. Oh god, I can't remember which one this is, which character this is. Rinku, links. So I can read some of it reasonably quickly, but not all of it. So I would do the Japanese language a disservice by trying. But oh, this is called Search for Emergency Contraceptives, an open source in Japan. Amazing. Well, maybe that's the project we'll work on in on the hackathon. That's so cool. That's so cool. Follow. Yeah, maybe we'll help with that at some point. Interesting. But yeah, there's loads of other projects. Mapping projects, Bird Explorer. So I guess this is like an open source tool for Bird Explorer. Oh, it's stuff about Twitter, not for actual birds. Software that helps users explore community notes data on X. Community notes data. Interesting. Interesting. Gender pay. Is this gender pay gap stuff? Code for phishing? I love hackathons. You always get introduced into loads of like really cool new projects. It's been a long time since I've participated in like a hackathon that wasn't like a what's the word, you get a prize money at the end. With my child in case of emergency, escape to peace. Evacuation shelters where you can evacuate with your pets. Oh. Okay, there's so many cool projects to work on in the Code for Japan. Like I just looked at the ones that were immediately interesting to me. What's this one? They've got Discord. I know. Is they don't have a link to like a repository or anything. That's the wrong one. So the Bird Explorer, the thing for Twitter, is looking like disinformation, misinformation stuff on Twitter. It's a disaster one. Walking map. Period control flusher app for somebody who is interested in low dose pill management. Curious people. Critical technology discourse. Traffic community data. AI travel map. Cool. Map and database nerds. Mapping civic tech in Asia. I wonder if the civic tech. Oh God, what Matt Stempak does with the civic tech field guide. Whether he knows about this project or whether it's possible he could even be involved in it. You never know. Cool. Well, these are all the different projects that Errol's going to be maybe contributing to and working on soon. So, hey. But yeah, thanks for reminding me that I'm over the hour. I think I'm going to go take a little rest and a little lie down after this. Thank you for spending time with me on stream. And Tofu thanks y'all as well. Tofu is down here and he will probably scream at me and bite me if I try and show him on stream. Oh no, he won't. Here he is. There we go. Tofu says thank you for watching the maintenance and the contributions, and bye bye. There you go, Tofu. Right, see you all next stream, folks. Have a lovely rest of your days. Bye bye.